6 on Connecticut's news station.
2002, and Hartford is averaging a murder a week. Now community leaders calling for state reinforcement once again in the streets. I'm Kim Fettig. The details coming up.
And
it taught your kids to just say no to drugs. Now many towns are dumping the DARE program. I'm Kara Sundlun in Waterford. Find out why and see if there's something better out there for your kids.
plus,
The war on terrorism and an increase in defense spending could give the state's economy a much-needed boost. I'm John Moroney. We'll have that story coming up.
also,
I'm Shari today at the Hartford Civic Center, where last-minute preparations are underway for tonight's big Elton John Billy Joel concert. That story coming up.
these stories and much more as Eyewitness News continues. Now, Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening. I'm Denise alongside Al Terzi. There are concerns tonight in Hartford after the city recorded its 4th murder of the year, and it's only February.
And as the local police department struggles with staffing because of the city's budget woes, some residents are now beginning to worry again about whether the streets of Hartford are safe. Channel 3's Kim Fettig is here with that story. Kim?
Good evening, Al. At this rate, Hartford is averaging a murder a week. And the latest victim was not on the streets, not involved in drugs. In fact, he was an elderly shop owner, well known in the community. So tonight, new questions about what Hartford can pay to protect people from paying the ultimate price. The flicker of candles and waving crime tape, the only real movement outside the tiny Enfield Street store. And the man neighborhood kids called Mr. James, the Candy Man, will never see grandkids of his own.
They took away years that were still entitled to him. They had no right to do that. He had the right to die naturally, comfortably in his home.
The murder of 79-year-old James Washington Saturday was the 4th in 4 weeks in Hartford. Just days earlier, and only a couple of blocks away, 20-year-old Jerome Medina was shot dead in front of his closest friends.
They're saying it's the Wild Wild West here in the north end of Hartford. Another killing?
Last spring, the deadly violence prompted state police and even federal patrols on Hartford streets. But in November, the Hartford Police Department was once again on its own.
This is the budget, this is the manpower levels that the city's at. I'll tell you right now, there will not be any widespread use of regularly assigned officers to foot patrol in the city. It's just not economically feasible.
40 officers short, HPD warns that staffing problems could get worse before they get better. But that hasn't stopped community and even state leaders from begging for more patrol, more security.
And we have to possibly look back into the state police coming back in, some other federal and state monies that may be able to assist.
For now, James Washington's family, like others in the North End, say they will watch their back, knowing their father's killer could be walking next to them on the street.
This community is not safe anymore. Not safe at all.
A peace march will be held tomorrow night, followed by a rally this coming weekend, as the community tries to fix things at the neighborhood level. Now, Denise, I have to hand it to people in that community. They really are trying on a grassroots level. I mean, every week they're organizing a rally since the Tequila incident this summer.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Kim. The state police patrols in Hartford stopped back in November. They ended exactly 4 months to the day they started in the wake of the July shooting of 7-year-old Tequila Gaston, whom Kim just mentioned. As the troopers left, Hartford police reported crime had gone down by 11% in the city. They also said arrests at the time were up by at least 30%.
A convicted death row inmate, Robert Breton, will soon get a hearing on his motion for a new trial, but Waterbury prosecutor John Connolly has been disqualified from representing the state at that hearing. Breton was convicted in the stabbing death of his ex-wife and teenage son, but questions have been raised about whether Connolly properly disclosed evidence to Breton's psychiatrist at the trial. So Connolly himself may have to testify at this hearing.
DARE, the Drug Abuse Resistance Education Program, was designed to keep our children off drugs. But now some communities, such as Canton, are talking about dumping it. It's been in the Connecticut schools since 1987, but now some wonder if it isn't just a waste of money. I-Team reporter Kara Sundlun takes us to Waterford, the first town to get DARE and the first that dared to drop it.
My favorite subject in school is math and reading. The town of Waterford didn't just dump DARE. It replaced the elementary school anti-drug program with its own called Challenge.
We want to challenge you guys from now to the time you graduate from high school to be drug, alcohol, and violence-free.
Initially, there was what's going to take its place and how effective is that going to be. Certainly, DARE was a very high publicized program.
Police Chief Murray Pendleton ditched DARE for the Challenge program. The superintendent of Waterford says it teaches more than just say no.
I think the Challenge program is better because it's broader. It encompasses healthy lifestyles and it encompasses peer pressure.
DARE is under fire as new studies report the elementary school program has no effect on kids by the time they reach high school. DARE proponents say it's difficult to measure the success of prevention.
We're not the cure-all, we're not the panacea for the drug problem or the violence problem, but, you know, we're out there trying.
The DARE program started under Nancy Reagan's Just Say No to Drugs campaign, and now almost 20 years later, the U.S. Department of Education won't fund it anymore, saying it's not scientifically proven. And even the creators of DARE say there's room for improvement. DARE educators are proposing a so-called booster shot, a 9-week middle school course to keep kids on the right path.
It's being written, it has been written independent of DARE, so that our critics can't say this is just another DARE quick fix.
While DARE redefines itself, schools are looking at new options like school resource officers.
So you have a trained set of eyes who can watch out for kids who are troubled, for situations that might not be observed by others.
Another drawback to DARE is its expense. Officials here tell me it costs about $50,000 a year. They can do their own program for about a third of the cost. In tight budgets, don't be surprised if you see a lot of schools daring to do something different. In Waterford, Kara Sundlun, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And Kara tells us Farmington and Simsbury have also dropped the DARE program, but Brantford recently signed on. Now, as for Canton, the Board of Selectmen has formed a subcommittee to research DARE's long-term effectiveness. Members are going to report back on April 4th in preparation for the May budget proceedings.
We know more tonight about what Governor Rowland will propose on Wednesday when he delivers his $13.5 billion budget to lawmakers. He says he will cut $200 million from the budget passed by the legislature last year. He says his plan does not include layoffs or cuts in aid to cities and towns, but it does include a tax increase on cigarettes.
It's going to be very different. It's going to be a cultural shift for the legislature. The usual fights of the last 7 years was how to spend the surplus. The battle this year will be how to balance the budget. As you know, this fiscal year we have a budget deficit of at least $350 million. Presumably that'll go up by the end of the year. Next year's budget deficit is at least $650 million.
You can count on complete Channel 3 coverage of the governor's budget address on Wednesday. Our live reports begin on Eyewitness News at noon.
Now, as for the federal budget, President Bush submitted his plan to Congress today. And not surprisingly, one of his top priorities is the war on terrorism. And that could be good news for Connecticut's once struggling defense industry. Channel 3's chief political reporter John Moroney is here with that. John?
Al, it's hard to say exactly how much in defense spending Connecticut will get in the president's budget. Still, some say the money would be better spent on domestic programs and helping the states deal with their own budget problems.
And at war, you're going to need increases in the defense budget.
An economist at the Connecticut Business and Industry Association, Peter Joyous, says defense contractors such as Pratt & Whitney and Sikorsky will attract some of those new defense dollars.
Connecticut's probably going to benefit itself economically a little bit more than other states.
The president's budget could hike defense spending by as much as $48 billion. Some of that money will be spent here, including $279 million on Sikorsky's Black Hawk helicopters. $2.5 billion has been set aside for an attack submarine built by Electric Boat, and $3.9 billion will be spent on the Air Force's C-17s. Those aircraft engines will be constructed by Pratt & Whitney.
Connecticut used to be heavily reliant on defense spending. We're not so much reliant anymore, so we don't know how much of that will directly benefit us.
Advocates for children and the mentally ill gathered at the state capitol this morning. They say increases in the defense budget may actually hurt Connecticut and other states. Liz McNichol is with the Washington-based Center on Budget and Policy Priorities.
Yeah, in order to put together a federal budget that increases defense spending significantly and continues to finance the tax cuts, money will have to come out of other parts of the budget, and the rest of the budget is domestic spending programs.
Now, Peter Joyce says the amount of defense work being done in Connecticut is not what it used to be. He estimates that defense contractors make up to 4 to 5% of the state's manufacturing base, which has also eroded over the years. Al and Denise.
All right, thanks, John. Moroney reporting.
Well, thousands of music fans are heading into Hartford about now. They're in downtown to see superstars Billy Joel and Elton John on stage together at the Civic Center.
Tonight kicks off the first of 4 Hartford concerts as part of their face-to-face tour. Channel 3 Shari Sadeh is joining us live in Hartford now with the latest. Shari?
Well, Denise and Al, Billy Joel and Elton John fans are already starting to arrive here at the Hartford Civic Center for tonight's big concert. Folks are lining up inside behind me to buy T-shirts and CDs, and everyone I spoke with here so far is just so excited to be here.
Saw them face-to-face last year in Syracuse, New York, and also in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they absolutely tore the place down, and I can't wait to see them again.
I'm a big fan of Billy Joel, and hopefully he'll play a lot of cool songs with Elton.
Fans like these are counting down the minutes until they get to see Elton John and Billy Joel, seen here in file video, live in concert at the Hartford Civic Center. Tonight is the first of 4 concerts at the Civic Center on the International Superstars Face-to-Face Tour. $10 raffle tickets are being sold to concertgoers to raise money for AIDS Project Hartford. The lucky winner will take home an $18,000 Yamaha Baby Grand piano.
It's actually backstage right now. The one you're seeing here is black. The exact same piano in white is backstage. They're signing it right now tonight, and then it's going to be put in storage. So only the Clinton piano movers, Elton John, and Billy Joel will touch this piano before you do.
Now, the drawing for that raffle is taking place next week, and tonight's concert is scheduled to start at 7:30, and there are still tickets available. I checked a few minutes ago, and there were about 50 left. So, you still have a chance if you want to come down and see Billy Joel and Elton John live on stage tonight. Al and Denise, back to you.
All right, Shari, sounds very exciting. That piano sounds like a great deal, too. Thanks.
A great cause as well. Well, let's get the latest on the forecast.
Miles Muzio with a look ahead. Miles, what do you see?
Well, Al and Denise, I see cooler weather coming than we saw today. In fact, yesterday we had highs up into the 40s as well. Not the case tomorrow, though. It's going to be much colder. Not much in the way of any snow. Maybe later this week, though. I'll tell you all about that in a few minutes.
If you think young girls are growing up too fast, it's true. Girls are hitting puberty at an earlier age. I'm Ellie Pai Hong. Find out why coming up on the Health Beat.
Also ahead, a big welcome home for the Super Bowl champs, the New England Patriots.
You're watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News for Enfield, Waterbury, Norwich, and your town, too.
Al and I will be right back.
A new Marriott hotel opened today in Windsor. It's located on Day Hill Road, only about 6 miles from Bradley Airport. The hotel boasts 15 state-of-the-art meeting rooms and more than 200 guest rooms that cater to the business traveler. They have 2 line telephones, voicemail, and large work desks with ergonomic chairs, too.
If you think kids are growing up too fast these days, you may be right. Girls are hitting puberty at an earlier age, and scientists say it may be a sign of other health problems. HealthBEAT reporter Ellie Pai Hong has more.
Researchers are trying to figure out why some girls as young as 4 or 5 are entering puberty. Scientists say genetics plays a role, but they've also discovered environmental factors that could trigger early puberty.
Over the last century, the average age for girls entering puberty was age 13. But today, research shows it's much younger. For Caucasian girls, the first signs of puberty come at age 7 or 8. For African American girls, it's a little younger, between the ages of 6 and 8. Puberty is a function driven by the brain. The hypothalamus is an area at the base of the brain that is responsible for awakening part of the body to the process of puberty. Researchers believe everyday environmental toxins trigger signals to the brain to begin puberty before the body is ready.
Chemicals that are used to make plastic, and they're used to make the same plastic that you see every day, the plastic of soft drinks, the plastic that makes containers for milk, for baby formula.
Dr. Sergio Ojeda says plastic toxins mimic hormones like estrogen, which play a key role in stimulating the brain. But if the body starts developing too early, it could be a warning sign for parents.
A 4-year-old with breast budding has a much higher risk of having something pathological going on, a CNS tumor or a cyst or a problem with their ovary.
Boys are also entering puberty earlier, although not as quickly as girls. On the Health Beat, I'm Ellie Pai Hong, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Ellie, thanks. Very interesting.
Stay tuned for the forecast coming up next.
Tomorrow on Eyewitness News at 6. Teachers aren't the only jobs many schools are having a hard time filling. See how a shortage of nurses could be affecting safety in the classroom. Tomorrow on Eyewitness News at 6. Now, your Doppler 3000 weather with Miles Muzio.
Good evening. Well, there may have been some hype with the Super Bowl, but the weather is rather tranquil, actually. We're going to see a cooler weather tonight, and that's the big weather headline. No precipitation. Outside right now, we've got a pretty nice evening taking place, temperatures in the 30s, and we're going to see the winds begin to pick up a little bit later on tonight, blowing in some of that cold stuff from Canada. We'll be down into the 20s for sure, and then along the shoreline, look for the cooling trend to take hold as well. But all of the precipitation is staying toward the west and actually moving down to the south of us. Right now, we've got 39 degrees. That's down 1 degree from last time we talked, and 48% humidity. Winds now, they're really generally light and variable, but they're going to begin to pick up later on. The pressure's beginning to rise, 29.70. And here are some more temperatures around the region. We're in the 30s for the most part. As you can see, everybody reporting 30-something, and everybody's above freezing right now. But we have had this area of snow down to the west and moving to the south of us. And you can see it almost gets to a point here like it wants to come, and then it starts moving down to the south. Temperature is much cooler, though, behind this system. We're down into the mid-teens from Syracuse over to Buffalo. You can see it really diving to the south of us and not really going to be affecting southern New England much. We've got this southern stream, this very strong jet stream here. It's kind of helping to pull this thing down to the south. And we're going to continue to watch a developing story, a weather story down here, moving across Dixie. It looks now that on Thursday and Friday, this is going to stay just to the south of us. We're going to be real close to it. But I don't think we're going to see the major impact from this storm, any major impact from the storm as it moves out. For us, we're going to see a nice day tomorrow. It'll be breezy, and it'll be cold, but it'll be sunny. And on Wednesday, here's that system pushing across the Tennessee Valley. High pressure between us and that system, though, so I think we're going to probably be okay. There's a gale warning in effect for strong winds tomorrow, gusting into the 30s, maybe even higher than that in some places. And so get ready for a lot of wind tonight and tomorrow. Partly cloudy, breezy and colder tonight. Teens and 20s in many spots. And for tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy and cold with a high 27 in the north, 33 shoreline. After that, we've got highs in 30s, lows in the teens and 20s the next couple of days. And there you see on Thursday p.m. going into Friday a.m. That's our threat for any snow from this system that's just scooting to the south of us. It doesn't look like we're going to get much. We might get some flurries from it, but no major impact, I don't believe.
Nothing to shovel.
We'll continue to watch that situation. These things do change.
He quickly adds. Okay,
Yes.
Thanks, Miles.
All right, we hope you'll join us for Eyewitness News Night Beat at 11 tonight.
The celebration is in full swing in Foxborough. The Patriots have just returned home as Super Bowl champs for the first time in team history. This is a live look now from Foxborough. We'll have more on the celebration and look ahead to tomorrow's big parade tonight at 11.
That's right, the parade tomorrow in Boston. We'll be covering it. Also, are you looking to lose weight? A new patch promises to melt away the pounds with little or no effort. We'll
How
take a
can
look.
that be?
Come on. But we'll tell you about it tonight at 11.
All right, sports, Joe,
What's
what
that?
can you say?
Just unbelievable. It is party time for the Patriots, and coming up next, we will hear from Tom Brady now that he's had a short night's rest to absorb it all, and Eric Clemons was on the field with Troy Brown. What were the players thinking at this moment right here? You'll find out. Plus, Gina Auriemma with an early entry for Soundbite of the Year, and the latest on the UConn men in the new AP poll. Channel 3 Sports is next.
Xena is Miscarriage.
Looking back, I knew something wasn't right.
Then, who is Kelly Ripa kissing? Plus, the Gilda Radner TV movie with cocaine on the set of SNL, and the new Star Wars next DT.
Tonight at 7:30 on Channel 3.
You want to really put into perspective how amazing the Patriots Super Bowl championship is. Last year, Tom Brady was going nowhere fast as the fourth-string quarterback during training camp. Now, listen to where he's going.
Tom Brady, you and the Patriots have just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
We're going to Disney World!
There he is, folks, and here he was this morning. Before he takes off for Orlando, he had time to receive his MVP award in New Orleans. Oh, Tom.
The emotional ride, it's been, as far as I'm concerned, it's been straight up. And there hadn't been a downer yet, except for this morning at about 6 o'clock when the alarm went off. But other than that, it's been pretty awesome.
Of course, the clutch plays down the stretch. 28 seconds ago, Tom Brady to Troy Brown. This is what I thought was the biggest play of the game right there. It got them into field goal range, and then, of course, Adam Vinatieri comes in, and there it is right down the middle. Afterwards, Eric Clemons was with Troy Brown in the middle of the celebration.
What's going through your heart, your spirit, as he's lining up for the 48-yard?
The feeling right now is just unbelievable. But, you know, like I said, the team believed the whole time that we could win, but the feeling right now, you just don't even know what to do. I mean, you don't know where to go. It's just like, just trying to find somebody to hug, you know, and hey, it's a great feeling, man.
That's right. We don't know each other where you know. Right. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Thank you very much. All right.
Little love from EC there never hurts. Gino Auriemma has a unique way of dealing with his most talented players. He did it with Svetlana Brosimova, and now he's doing it with Diana Taurasi. Yesterday, Taurasi had a stellar offensive game against Providence. She scored 20 points in the win. However, she didn't get not one rebound, and that didn't go unnoticed by Coach.
No rebounds, not one.
I was in the boxing after that.
I mean, not one. Like even if you're like, if I took my daughter and put her out there, one ball would land in her lap accidentally, right? Holy.
Oh, classic Gino. After those two road losses last week, the UConn men have dropped out of the AP Top 25. We caught up with Coach Calhoun this afternoon.
From 17 to 25, yeah. Yeah, well, the RPI says that the losses weren't like that, but I think that if we'd gone to 30th in the RPI, I'd be much more concerned. But that would, an 8-drop jump, that's a big jump, especially with.
So the men, they're still in there RPI-wise, but they're out of the top 25. We'll have more in the UConn men tonight. Eric, giving a little love down there at the Patriots, huh?
Thanks, that'll do it for Eyewitness News at 6. Thanks for sharing your time with us tonight.